Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of 40k Rants. And we are doing the third episode of Starcraft versus 40k with the Eldar versus the Protoss. And like the Zerg and Tyranid, I did a little bit of preliminary research, only because of how little I actually know about the different groups, especially the Eldar. And, yeah, I paired up some groups that seemed appropriate and got some very, interesting results. So, my groupings are Howling Banshee versus the Zealot, Fire Dragons versus Dragoons, and Striking Scorpions versus the Dark Templar. And then again, an overall kind of race v race, Eldar versus Protoss fight. So, give me 1 second. Tea. And we will get started with the Howling Banshee versus the Zealot. This surprised me. With the Zealot, they have a slight precognitive ability, and they definitely have a speed advantage. And the Banshee has the Scream, and they can do both ranged and melee with a shuriken pistol and with a power sword. So it comes down to, realistically, I believe they would be in melee almost equal. I think the speed and precognition would normally help out the Zealot, but I think the Scream, paired up with the shuriken pistol, would be able, if they could keep the Zealot at bay, the shuriken pistol definitely, and if they couldn't, the Scream would definitely incapacitate. So, I'm giving this one to the Howling Banshees, very surprisingly. Next one was one I kind of saw, because I looked at different aspect warriors to see what would pair up really well. And I did Fire Dragons versus Dragoon for the reason of they're both... The Dragoon's not kind of, but yes, anti-armor. They're really anti-everything. Essentially they have the same armament as a fucking photon cannon on top of them, with legs. So I thought, out of everything I saw, Fire Dragons would probably be the most appropriate, being they are the anti-armor, anti-structure demolition specialists. So I was like, okay, they're both kind of anti-armor. To an extent, they're both kind of anti-structure. So yeah, this will be kind of a, this will at least be a fair fight, or as close as I'm going to get. This was a much closer fair fight than I fucking thought. So, with the Dragoon, they do have their armor being in a Dragoon shell. They have the shield, and they have a range advantage on the Fire Dragons. However, the Fire Dragons have actually pretty good armor themselves, and their entire armament is anti-armor, so they'd be able to eat through the armor of the Dragoon. So this one, I'm going to call Dragoon with a slight advantage to a tie. I think if the only thing protecting the Dragoons is the range advantage. So I do think they should be able to keep Fire Dragons at range, but this is really close to a tie for me. But I am giving the slight edge to the Dragoons. Now, for the Striking Scorpions and Dark Templar. This is one that I thought about the longest. And when I say thought about the longest, understand I didn't think about it for an hour or two. I honestly thought about it for about 5 to 10 minutes, because this is not meant to be a full-on in-depth thing. It's more of a brief thing. So, it is what it is. But here's where the problem came in. The Striking Scorpions, they are stealthy. They're very versatile. And they've been known to be able to take on Astartes in melee combat. They are considered tougher than the other Eldar aspect warriors. The Dark Templar have a chameleon ability. They're not stealthy, they're actually bending light. And they also have been known to have an ability to blink. Now, here's where I honestly compared it down to. I was able to narrow it down to really two actual comparisons. When it comes to their ability to be stealthy, the Dark Templar wins because they're actually camouflaged, whereas the Striking Scorpions are just really stupid sneaky. So with that one, I'm going to give the edge to the Dark Templar. Here's where it's different. You have the maneuverability of a Dark Templar versus the versatility and the toughness of the Striking Scorpion. So, even though they are what I would consider more sneaky, I would call this one an out-and-out draw. I call this one a tie only because for every one win that I could see the Dark Templar getting, I could just as easily see the Striking Scorpion getting. And I can't really call a winner in this one. It's really hard for me to be able to say that. And I'm also really surprised by that. I didn't think very much that the Eldar would be able to stand up to something as, well, in-game broken as the Dark Eldar, or the Dark Templar. But, yeah, I was wrong. There's something that I think can and has. So, right now we're sitting at 1 win Protoss, 1 win Eldar, and just a flat tie. So, who wins an overall fight? Okay. Let's assume that the Eldar decide, oh, Aiur looks like a beautiful planet now that's been ravaged. Let's take that and make that into a, what do they call them? A mother world? Something like that? Well, if they throw everything they have at the Protoss, I find it really hard to believe that the Eldar would be able to win. However, in what I have just researched, what little I researched, honestly, it's going to be a lot closer than I thought. I think I'm going to say Protoss victory, but very, very close. And my logic for this is, for everything that the Eldar have, the Dire Avengers, the Howling Banshees, the Striking Scorpions, the Fire Dragons, I also think that there would be counters. Maybe, even though I do think Howling Banshees would be able to overpower Zealots, I also think that, you have the Zealot, you have the Dragoon, you have the High Templar, you have the Dark Templar, you have, the Immortals, you have the, what are they called? It's the little robot things in Starcraft 2 that can create shields. You have stuff like that. I think the ability of the shields, plus the unit roster of the Protoss, if you're doing, let's call it a small army versus a small army with a little bit of everything in it, I believe the Protoss end up gaining overall versatility. That being said, I think that the Eldar are going to make them fight for every inch, too. I think it's going to be bloody. I think they're going to come out of it much worse for wear. But I do think the Protoss will end up winning. And that's just my 2 cents. Next week I do have a special edition of, it'll be the last, possibly, of the Starcraft V 40k episodes. And it will be a surprise on what it is, and I really hope you all enjoy, because I know I'm not really going to put that much work into it. Again, this is just going to be It's not meant to be a full-on research lore thing. It's just meant to be kind of a fun. Here's the basic rundown. Here's how I think they would do. I've got a really special one at least planned for next week. So if you're looking forward to it, remember to subscribe and keep an eye out for it. Or if you want to see some of my other playlists, subscribe and check them out. But if you did like this, leave a like, leave a comment. Let me know what you think between Eldar and Protoss. But that being said, if you want to have more of a say, if you want to see a specific 40k rant video, if you want to see me play a specific game, join the Discord. I have a list of games that I'm willing to play on YouTube. So when I get done with the community pick, I will put it up to a vote, see what the Discord community wants, and I will play that game. And even if it's not chosen what you pick for the community pick, if I really like it, it could potentially be the next pick that I have for the week. But yeah, join the Discord, find out, have some fun with us. We're building up a really great family, and we'd love to have you there. But with all that being said, I hope you all have a very wonderful day.